WG0AT is the new call, and he's going to talk about his expeditions up in the mountains, some de-expeditions possibly, and then have a show and tell demonstration with his pack goats later on in the setting up of the antenna.
Oh, okay.
You gotta give us his call. You forgot to give us.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
WG0AT.
Is that truly your call?
That's truly my call. Matter of fact, I just got it Monday. I had to give up this call, N0TU, and had that for 30-some years, so it was kind of bittersweet. But ever since I retired, like I've told some of my friends, it's all about having fun. And WG0AT is a fun call, so why not?
Will you sell your old call to the highest bidder?
Well, you know, there's some issues with that. Every time I got in a pileup, even the fox hunts, the fox or the DX station, when they turn it back over and when they've completed the exchange, they send a TU. Well, when the foxes at the bottom of the pileup are almost ESP levels, and you hear that TU, you think, oh, that's me, I can go ahead. And then I jump in and realize that it's on top of somebody else, and he wasn't responding to me. So anyway, it's sometimes it's awkward, and even though it's a nice short CW call, and it rolls off my tier. Matter of fact, it's a reprogramming process right now, trying to get this new call in my RAM, so to speak, mental RAM. I got started in ham radio about 50 years ago when my brother gave me a crystal set, and actually it was a one transistor crystal set that I built in a little plastic box. It had a transistor was audio amp, and I ran around the neighborhood clipping onto fences and car bumpers and anything metal, downspouts, and I just couldn't believe radio waves, you know, would travel down that antenna and up this little tiny piezoid earphone. And ever since then, I've just been enamored with ham radio, and the hobby has kind of gone up and down over the years. And I've been involved in QRP for about the last 20 years, and it was probably about five years ago when I realized that backpacking, which is one of my favorite things to do, was not practical in terms of my knees are, from many years of jogging, have sort of worn out, if you will. And I realized that I couldn't haul around a 50-pound backpack anymore. Plus, backpacking gear had changed a lot in terms of everybody was going to this lightweight stuff, but the lightweight stuff is expensive. And anyway, long story made short, one day I got my fly rod out, and I was on a river, well, 11-mile canyon, and on the back cast, you know, you're throwing that line back and forth in the air. On the back cast, I went to go forward, and I saw this guy's hat go sailing by, and realized, you know, I turned around and looked, and there's a fisherman standing down there looking at me like, you mind? So I decided that the places that are easy to get to around here for fishing are too crowded for me. And I started reading a book about high alpine lake fishing. And halfway through the book, the guy keeps talking about his companion that is hauling all his gear for him. And finally he reveals it's a goat. And I thought, a goat, what a great idea, I could do that. And so I got on the internet, started looking into pack goats, and turns out there's a Yahoo group called Pack Goating. Anyway, there's about 700 folks around the globe that are packing with goats. Rooster and Peanut are rescue goats. They would have wound up in a dog food dish. They were headed for the sale barn, and they either would have been a 4-H project, or they would have been picked up by, you know, the the slaughterhouse and turned into dog food, or wound up at a Muslim barbecue somewhere. But Rooster was bottle raised. His goat mama hugged him and had her hands on him every day. He came from a dairy, and so he's pretty well socialized, and he thinks people are two-legged goats, basically. You'll see when we get out there. He'll just walk right up to you. Goats, they have no conscious memory of time, so they think they live in the now moment, and he will, like, if I leave the room and come back, he'll come up to me and want to smell my breath, wondering what I had. Did I have something good to eat? And it's they're always checking each other out, wondering who had who got what to eat. They're very food focused, which makes them easy to train. Peanut, on the other hand, came from a hippie commune out in Alamosa, and they basically were raising him for goat meat. And he's much more wild. It's taken me almost 2 years to get to the point where I can even get my hands on him. And he's still a little flighty, but he's got the best attitude. He will try anything, and he's learned a lot of tricks, consequently, and he's also he's a smart goat. He's smarter than Rooster. Rooster's kind of my QRO goat. He does it with brute force. Peanut's the QRP goat. He'll analyze it and figure it out, and instead of jumping over the log, he'll walk around it or take the high road. It's really funny. But I guess I could, before I get rolling, if there's any questions, I can answer. Otherwise, we could look at a few videos and then go out and take a look at the goats. The saddle, the goat saddle I use, I made this from a design that was on the web, and basically the principle behind it is that you want to get the weight up off the goat's back, off their spine, and on their size of their back. Rooster, the big goat, weighs about 230 pounds, and like a human, they can carry almost 25-30% of their body weight. And the goats, surprisingly, their work ethic is incredible. When I put the saddle on them, they kind of dance around like, what are you doing? But once it's on, they pay no mind to it. They pay no attention to it. And I converted some old bicycle panniers. I used to bike tour a long time ago. And these just hook over the top of the saddle. And that's what you see Peanut carrying there. The trick is to balance the weight on both sides. Typically, I'll have a Peanut loaded up with maybe about 25 pounds. Rooster, I put an additional 10 pounds on him. And that together is 50 pounds, right, or 60 pounds right there. Plus, I carry, poncho and camera and water and a jacket and a few personal things. The goats are herd animals. Consequently, they stick together as a group because they're prey animals, meaning that they're always worried about being eaten by predators. And so the herd, the collective herd, there's strength in numbers. And they also elect a leader, and the way they elect a leader is they butt heads. They test each other to see who is worthy of being the leader. And it goes back and forth. Sometimes Rooster will be the head goat. He's got a little horn on top. Both goats were debudded at birth. And sometimes they grow, and this little horn that grows out of you'll see it out of Rooster's head, they'll butt heads and it'll get knocked off, and then Rooster gets a sore head, and Peanut knows that, so he'll take advantage of it, and he's top goat for a week or two until Rooster's